Okay, I'm back on the camera, and yeah, just here to talk about Arsenal's 2024-25 season, and yeah, season review, I guess. So let's start off with what were the expectations going into this season? Okay, we had signed Mikel Merino from Real Sociedad, we had signed Calafiori, and we had signed Raheem Sterling on loan. That was our summer window after losing the title to Man City by 1 point. And that Man City team were crippled because they didn't have KDB for a majority of the season. And they relied on the brilliance of Phil Foden and Rodri. But yeah, I think the way we needed a striker last summer. We needed a backup goalkeeper, a good one. We needed another midfielder, and Martinelli, question marks were all over him. And we are in the exact same position this summer as we were last year. So what that means is we've wasted a year. We've wasted a year of this team's prime, physical prime. Okay, I already believe that we've already played the best football under Mikel Arteta. All right, we won't play any better football than 22-23. Were we a better team in 23-24? Yes, but we played better football in 22-23. If you understand. So this summer we need to replace Martinelli. We need a striker. We need another midfielder. We need a good backup goalkeeper. And I'd say we could do with another fullback because we are good for centre backs. And yeah, we've signed, we've signed Kepa Arrizabalaga. So 5-6 days into the window, we've signed Kepa Arrizabalaga. Yeah, we should be chasing Rodrigo, Gyökeres, even Sesko. Chase up all these players. Zubamendi, chase these players up. But no, instead you go ahead and sort out €5 million for the signing of Kepa Arrizabalaga. Okay, another one of Chelsea's leftovers. It seems like every year we do not learn from our mistakes. We sign a Chelsea scrub and then they perform horribly. And then we do it all over again. The only player who wasn't a scrub was David Luiz, but he didn't have the greatest of Arsenal careers, did he? Now, when we talk about expectations, at the beginning of last season, I said that I wanted to win. I'd wanted to win the Premier League. We were the favourites for the Premier League. I didn't say we'd be favourites for the Champions League, but I did say I wanted to progress, improve on last season. We got knocked out by Bayern Munich in the quarterfinals, make the semi-finals, because I knew we weren't going to win the whole thing. All right. Yes, I did have belief when we beat Real Madrid, but at the beginning of the season, I thought, we're not going to win the Champions League. Go for the Premier League. And this is before I knew that Liverpool were a serious team. With the arrival of Arne Slot, I didn't pay them attention. They weren't threatening at all in my eyes. Man City were my favourites going. Well, they were my competition next season because they hadn't signed anyone except for Federico Chiesa, who's been a total utter flop. And now my expectations for last summer was to win the Premier League. And in the beginning of the Premier League season, and not just that, the pre-season as well, we looked very good. Saka was playing unbelievably. I saw it in the Emirates Cup against Lyon and Leverkusen. He was on it, even in the beginning of the season. Yeah, I didn't expect Martin Odegaard to have that bad of a season. I didn't expect Martin Odegaard to have that bad of a season, you know. And yeah, it went horribly from his ankle injury on international break to just having no impact on the team. He was a net negative on the team for ages, for months. It was only up until the end of the season from the Real Madrid tie-ish where he started to playing better. He picked up a few assists every now and again, like against Brentford, Bournemouth. He got a very good goal against Southampton last game of the season. He did start playing a bit more open. He also did get an assist against Newcastle to Declan Rice. He did start playing a bit more like himself. Now, do I expect Martin Odegaard to have that bad of a season again next year? Absolutely not. No. His standards, the standards that he set for himself last season, I mean in 23, 24, the standards that he set himself then, a joke. He was playing like prime David Silva every single week from February up until April, playing like peak David Silva. Genuinely unreal Martin Odegaard. Yeah, and that 23-24 was way better than his 22-23, his 15 goal campaign. Way better, way better. It's just tragic what's happened to him this season. But I do expect him to play better next season, play like himself next season. Hopefully we have a full fit squad all season long. I saw in the World Cup qualifiers his ball to Haaland. Could Sesko do that? Be in that sort of position for Odegaard to exploit? Because Odegaard, that's bread and butter. Final balls and in and around the edge of the box. That's his bread and butter. So if Sesko can get into those key positions, and Martin Odegaard, he loves a lofted ball. He loves a cross. If Sesko can get his head on it, that's cash money because he's like 6'4", 6'5". An insane aerial threat. But I'd much rather prefer the signing of Gyökeres. We are pretty much closer to signing Gyökeres. But the thing is, the more I think about it, the thing is, why is the only club Gyökeres is seriously linked to, or the only club that really wants Gyökeres is Arsenal? Why is no one else going after him? It's the same reason. Same thing goes for Osimhen. Why weren't clubs going for him? Yeah, could it be the fact that Gyökeres and Osimhen have a fake birth certificate, and the fact that they are over the age of 35? Is that why no big clubs are going after them? Is that why Real Madrid and Barcelona haven't been sniffing around them? That could be the reason why. I'm not as intelligent as the Arsenal scouts. So if they're telling me that we should be signing Benjamin Sesko, then so be it. I don't hate Sesko. Let's get that right. I don't hate Sesko. I just prefer Gyökeres. But if Sesko was to be signed, I'm putting my full trust in him. I will be backing Sesko. Yeah, all the way. The only player that I did not back was Kai Havertz, and that's quite understandable. He had a horrific 22-23 with Chelsea. We signed a Chelsea. Well, he was a Chelsea flop essentially. No one wanted him, but he made it. Well, he turned it around. He made the fans fall in love with him, and he not only changed the fans of the opinions of the fans. He changed the opinions of me. And whenever I do see Kai Havertz score, I actually get happy inside. Before I hated it. You remember that Mickey penalty that Martin Odegaard handed to Kai Havertz to give him his first goal of the season? I think it was Bournemouth away. Yeah. Yeah, it was dark days. And quite ironically, Havertz actually was the one behind Odegaard when he scored against Southampton. So the tables really flipped. Now, when it comes to this season as a whole, did I expect for us to go all the way to the, second leg Champions League semi-finals and for me to still have hope that we'd be able to go to the final? No, because we had an insane injury record. Three major players with hamstring injuries, needed hamstring surgery. Let's talk about the injuries. Tomiyasu hasn't been seen all season long. Seriously, guys. Is Tomiyasu even alive? I haven't heard his name in over 18 months. Where is Tomiyasu? No, seriously, where is Tomiyasu? I don't know where he could be. Is he in a cave in eastern China? I don't know where he is. He could be anywhere on the planet. Ben White's been injured for a long time, from October-ish up until March, April. Martinelli, March, he was out. Gabriel, hamstring surgery. Saka, hamstring surgery. Kai Havertz, hamstring surgery. What's our right back's name? Jurriën Timber, out at the end of the season. He had to get surgery. I think it was on his ankle or something. Who else has been injured? Jorginho, and I can't quite remember who else, but it's been very bad injury-wise. I understand how can we play our football if all of our all of our important players are, well, almost all of our important players are out. So you have to think about it like that. And I thought it was kind of a miracle that we finished second and got into a Champions League semi-final with the squad that we actually had. So yeah, I rate this whole season. What should I rate this season as? Now I rate this entire season a 3 out of 10, and it can't be any higher than that because we were knocked out of the FA Cup in such a poor fashion. We didn't even win 5 Premier League games in a row. That is absolutely horrific. That is shocking. Even at the standard that we set last season and the season before that, that's horrible. That's unacceptable. And yeah, we got knocked out of the Carabao Cup early by Newcastle, and yeah, we haven't won any titles. Well, we haven't won a trophy for now for 5 seasons, and it's getting to me now. I am being starved of a trophy, and if Mikel Arteta is to stay, he needs to deliver a Premier League or a Champions League to Arsenal, to the Emirates, and it means so much more if we were to win the Premier League, in my opinion, because I feel like it'd be better. It'd be easier for us to win the Premier League than the Champions League because we are a league team. Like going back to recent years, we are a consistent team, and I have so much more faith in the team going out to win the Premier League than the Champions League. Is the Champions League better than the Premier League? Yes, but I heard somewhere that if a team was to win the Premier League and finish fourth every other year, they would not be remembered as a dynasty. They would not be remembered as a great team. But if they were to win the Premier League and then the Champions League, they'd be remembered as a team that had dominated their country, the league, and then they became European champions. Now that is a great team. Would I take a Champions League? Of course I would. Of course I would. But I just don't trust the team to do it. I feel like it's just easier for us to be consistent in the league than it is to go out and win the Champions League. So, yeah, I think that's a 24-25 season review. If you guys have anything to say, if you guys have any differences, just reply in the comments and I will get back to you. Yeah, do I have any goals for this year? Yep. I want to hit 100 subscribers before... I feel like I could do it by September-ish, because that's when the season starts and then I can start doing, fan cams and the videos will start coming in thick and fast. So I feel like because there's not much content to do right now. So see, it's the off season, So I feel like once the season starts again and I'll start pushing up fan cams after every match, hopefully, then I think I'll start to pick up subscribers and get that 100 subscribers. And I think getting 100 subscribers in less than a year would be sick for me, because I feel like the first 100 subscribers is always the hardest. And yeah, so that's it for me. I'll try to be consistent. Hopefully the next video I make will be the fact that we have signed Rodrigo. But yeah, anyways, take care guys.